Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about how much it actually cost to do the track day you saw in my last video. Before we get into today's video, I just want to give a quick shout out to a company by the name of Noble Chairs. They make chairs, as you can probably guess, and I want to shout them out because they actually last week sent me out one of their Epic Series Black Edition chairs, which is very kind of them, and I've obviously been using it, and I have to say, it's very, very good. Well, I actually built it myself, which I'm quite proud of, and that was pretty painless, but it is super comfortable for when I'm editing these videos especially, but also for when I'm watching them back and admiring myself. No, very happy with it. Thank you so much to them for sending me out a chair, and of course I'll leave their link in the description below if you want to check them out. So then, yes, today I want to talk to you about the cost of the track day that I did last week. Now, I wasn't planning on making any follow-up videos to that track day video. However, it has gone down extremely well, which I'm really pleased about, because if you've seen the video, you'll know that I had such a blast doing that and obviously making the video. So the fact that you guys have really enjoyed it as well is fantastic news, because it really means it's probably a good idea to do more of them. So I'm definitely going to plan on doing some more track days in the future. You guys enjoyed it, and I bloody well enjoyed it. So I'd like to do more with this car and also with future cars on the channel. So the reason I'm doing this video is because lots of the comments in the description, lots of the comments on the video were asking about how much the track day cost. Did I take out track day insurance? Things about noise regulations, if my car passed and how I passed it, and various other costs associated with the track day, you know, how much fuel I used, etc. Now, I did touch on a few of those points in the video itself, which, by the way, go ahead and watch that now if you haven't already. It's, well, by lots of your opinions, the best video I've ever done, and it is a really good one. So click the link up in the top right hand side of the screen up there to go and watch it now if you haven't already, because this will make a lot more sense after you've seen that. But yeah, I wanted to go in a little bit more detail. Instead of answering you all in the comments, I thought I'd just make a quick video on various bits. So what I want to talk to you today about is the cost of the track day, the cost of track day insurance, the cost of mufflers. Not that I actually needed them, but lots of people buy mufflers, especially for track days, which basically go onto the end of your exhaust pipes to obviously deaden the sound to an extent that the car passes. The cost of fuel, and then we may go into a little bit about after maintenance as well, the wear and tear it actually has on your vehicle, which obviously depends on what you're driving, the condition, etc. But I may, if you want, guys, probably do another video talking about sort of preparation for the track day, because I had to take quite a few things with me, and luckily I was with my friend Charlie, who is a seasoned veteran at Goodwood, so he knows all about track day, so he was able to help me prepare, which was fantastic, and he was there in his ACA Seeker if you watch the video. So let's start with the cost of the track day. So this obviously varies from time to time when you do the track day, whether you're doing a low sound day or a high sound day. So basically the sound limits differ on various days, and of course where you do your track day as well. Now, Goodwood, I think, is actually, I wouldn't say more expensive than most, but it's certainly more expensive than maybe Brands Hatch, Thruxton, and a few others. Not that I've done all that much research yet. The cost of the track day that I did, I had a look, it's £350 for the full day. Now, I say I have a look, that's because I actually didn't pay for the track day at Goodwood. Goodwood didn't invite me down there as a guest. I was essentially just there as a bolt-on to my friend Charlie's tracks day, which was already paid for. So I managed to essentially go along as a bolt-on. I didn't have to pay anything for the track day, but the full day that you saw me do would cost £350. It includes a bit of breakfast in the form of a bacon roll, which is very nice, and some lunch as well, along with everything else. Your driver's briefing, if you need to borrow a helmet, that's free of charge, and you can also have the option to go out with an expert for about 20 quid, and they'll sit in your passenger side and basically coach you through the track, which is something I didn't do, because I have to say I did pick it up pretty quickly, but I think it's something that I would definitely do next time. So the cost of the track day is about £350, that one at Goodwood. That was a high noise day, so the decibel limit is 104 decibels. I think the lower noise days may be a little bit cheaper, around £280 for the full day, which is 94 decibels. No, sorry, 98 decibels, which my car would actually just pass. You can also just go for a half day, the morning session, which in my instance on the £350 full day would cost you £180. Now, although I didn't pay for it, it is certainly worth the money in my opinion. Again, just the smiles that I had in that video you saw are well worth the money. So 100% I would pay to do that again. Maybe just the morning session, because it's basically half the price, and you still get a good amount of track time. Although I have to say, after most people leave in the afternoon, you're on track all afternoon, so it is worth staying if you want to drive a lot. In terms of track day insurance, now this is not something I took out and not something I can really say how much it costs, because it does vary from car to car, from person to person, based on circumstances, etc, etc. I think you're looking at a few £100 probably for track day insurance to cover you, because essentially when you're driving on track, if anything happens, if you should hit a wall and write off the car, you're not insured by your insurance company, unless you've got some sort of special setup there, or a permanent track day insurance or something like that. I do not. I did not have insurance on the day. My reason being, well, one, it was really last minute, so I would have had time to sort it out if I wanted to, but I didn't have a lot of time to do research on it and sort it out. And two, I guess, as arrogant as it might sound, I just trusted myself not to bin it, to just be careful, not get ahead of myself. And again, in the video, you can see where I have a few little moments and I just calm it down after that and have some self-control. Thirdly, this car is worth probably £2,500 at a stretch. So again, not that it wouldn't be a problem if I wrote it off, it would obviously be devastating and financially bad, but to spend £200 or £300 for a day of insurance on a car that's barely worth 10 times that, maybe isn't worth it, in my opinion. Now, yeah, you have to bear in mind it's my opinion. You might want to do it differently. If it's your only like sort of pride and joy car, if it's really good nick, it's worth a lot more, you might want to. And obviously with other cars that are worth a lot more money, I'm sure that number of insurance would go up, but it's obviously a lot more worth it in that scenario. Also with something that's a lot more powerful, that you're a lot more likely to lose control of, track day insurance might be something you want to consider, but I can't really say an exact cost of that, but you're probably talking in the hundreds of pounds. So I also just want to touch on mufflers really quick. Now, I looked at these before the track day and thought about buying some, because I was really concerned that my car would not pass the sound regulation. So what they do essentially is, after your driver's briefing or just before, I think it can be either way around, you go to a little sound testing area where they basically hold a decibel reader on a stick at a certain distance from your exhaust, and you have to rev the car up to about 3/4 of your red line. So they'll ask you what your red line is. They'll be one looking here and one behind the car as well. So in my case, 6,500 RPM, something like that. I had to rev it up to about 4,750. So you rev it up to 4,750 and hold it there for about 5 seconds or so until they tell you to stop, and they get a decibel reading. Now the limit is 104 on the day I was there. 105, sorry, I'm getting all these numbers mixed up. My car read 94, which was a lot lower than I thought, because I was genuinely concerned that it wouldn't pass. They are very strict on it and essentially will not let you on track if your car breaks it. If you sort of read maybe 107, 108, maybe even up to 110 at the start of the day, such as my friend in his ACSE did, I think it read about 112, something like that, they will let you out on track, because in a lot of scenarios, cars, when they're revving, read a lot higher than when they're actually on the road driving at different RPMs and stuff. And there's, I think, 4 various sound check zones on the track, which you're not really aware of while you're going round, but at any point, if you do break those levels, which I think is about 98 decibels, or no, it's 101 decibels on track, then they will flag you, give you a warning, and you get up to 3 warnings before they will kick you off the track essentially. But if you were flagged off the first time and you're reading 105 on a certain straight, they would just advise you to not basically floor it or change your RPMs at that particular area. So it's actually something I worried way too much about, but as long as your car's basically within that idle range, if not a little bit, I say idle range, the static rev range for the sound, or a little bit above, you'll be allowed on track, at least at Goodwood. They'll let you go out and you can manage the sound thereafter, unless you've got something which is like 130 decibels. Now mufflers, that yellow Ford GT that I overtook in the video, he had mufflers on, so they're big, black, I don't know what, maybe rubber, about a foot long. They literally just slot onto the end of each exhaust. Now these are around 50-60 pounds each, depending on the diameter of your exhaust pipes. Obviously, depending on how many exhaust pipes you've got, you'll need to buy that many, but they do obviously severely reduce the sound of the car. So the Ford GT had those on, because obviously without it, it would be way too loud. So mufflers, if you've got a really loud car, you're able to maybe sound test the car and see that it's too loud. That would be something you'd have to factor in for track days as well. Obviously they're multiple use, so once you've got them, and you can rest assured. One thing to note about Goodwood, which is really good, is that they will actually allow you, maybe not now with COVID, because they're not allowing visitors, etc. But if you go there on a track day, if you're there in the morning when they're doing the sound testing, even if you're not participating, they will allow you to do a free sound test, and they actually encourage you to do that before booking a track day, because once you've paid for the track day, book the track day and you turn up, if your car is too loud, there's nothing you can really do. You won't be able to get refunded or anything like that. So I highly recommend, if you're concerned about your noise levels, get the car tested either by buying a decibel reader and doing it at home, or say if you're decided you're going to go to Goodwood and you're not sure if it will pass there, find one of their track days and head down in the morning and get your car noise tested, and you'll know straight away whether they'll allow you on track should you book in the future. So that's something really good to know that I didn't know they would do, and actually would just give you peace of mind if you had the time to do that ahead of time. So lastly, in the cost thing that I can think of is the fuel. Now, I touched on this in the video, but where you actually saw me stop filming was about halfway through my day. I think I'd done about 48 miles on track when I ended the video. But by the end of the day, I'd actually done about 110 miles, and that equated to about a full tank. So around 11 miles per gallon over the whole day. But I basically did 110 miles of driving, which on Goodwood is around 45, 44 laps. And used a full tank there. So about £65 in my case at current fuel prices. Really not that bad, not even really a consideration. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to a track day worrying about how much they're going to spend on fuel. You just go out and get fuel, and there's actually a petrol station about a mile away from the track itself, so it's really easy to nip out and just get it. Of course, you can take a jerry can and stuff, but you're only going to be able to hold so much. So fuel, yeah, this car I can get 30 miles per gallon on normal driving. I got about 10, 11 on track driving, so about a third of what you would normally expect. So not too bad. £65 of fuel for a full day of driving. I was very happy with that, to be honest, and I would have happily put another tank in. So lastly, if I just quickly touch on after maintenance from the track day. I mentioned in the video that the brakes were fading a little bit and they probably need replacing. It's about 2 weeks since I actually drove on track, and I haven't done anything, and the brakes feel okay. So although they probably will need replacing at least pads at some point, I don't think doing that track day, even though they're quite old brakes, has completely killed them. Also on that, the clutch, it's pretty gone on this car, but you're not really using it, especially if you know how to heel and toe rev match. You're preserving the clutch really and not giving it too much strain, as long as you're not launching it or dumping the clutch around corners, which you really shouldn't be anyway. In terms of tyres, that's the one thing where people might think, oh, you know, need a new set of tyres for a track day. I was actually really surprised that I mean, after the track day, so before I inspected the tyres, obviously checked the pressures, had a look at how much tread was on there. I can't give you figures, but it was good. They're only a few months old, these tyres. And after the track day, I genuinely couldn't notice any other sort of additional wear, any less tread on the tyre. Partly, the car was very grippy, it was a dry track. I was not losing traction much, and so didn't burn that much rubber. I mean, there was a couple of opposite lock moments, as you will have seen, and I left some tyre marks. But from a noticeable perspective, the tyre wear is minimal, absolutely minimal, negligible, you might say, and pleasantly surprised at that, because I thought, yeah, maybe I'll have to replace the rears at least afterwards. So yeah, all in all, it was a very cheap day. Obviously largely helped, well, I mean, with thanks to my friend Charlie, essentially, for inviting me to bolt on to his track day, because I didn't pay for it. So it was a very affordable day, and the Z4 is faring well since. This is the first time I guess you've seen the car since last week. It's faring well. The brakes feel fine, the clutch feels fine, as I said, and the grip is all still there, the tyre tread is all still there. I'm sure I've lost some, but it wasn't noticeable to the eye at least. So that's really it. That's all I want to talk about. I apologise for those of you that want to see some more actiony, fast-paced video content. But I just thought I'd come on here and talk to those of you that are asking all the questions in the comments. I'm trying to think now if there were any other comments. There were some, like I say, about how you prepare, what you need to take with you, yada yada yada. So maybe I'll do a video on that if you guys are interested. The last thing I will just say is it was my first track day ever. I've done various track days before as a passenger, and a little bit of driving at Brands Hatch before, back in the days when I was working with another YouTuber, and plenty of go-karting and stuff like that. But I was very nervous about the track day. It's quite a daunting thing. One, because you're taking your own car on there, which is, it's an asset, isn't it? And you're worried. And I was just quite nervous that, you know, I'd be really slow or I just wouldn't get it. Which luckily in my case I did. And I have to say, by halfway around the first lap, the smile was just on my face. All of the nerves were gone. I wasn't daunted at all. And at Goodwood, I have to say, they're fantastic. They make you feel really welcome. The organisers of the event come and speak to everyone. It's not busy, so you can just park in any paddock you like. You can come on and off track at your what's the word? At your pleasure, at your ease, at your choosing. You can just come on and off the track. Take a break whenever you like, free coffee and tea all day, and it's just a very chilled out atmosphere, and there wasn't any pressure or anything like that to do really well. It was just great, and you met some really cool drivers of other cars as well. So all in all, like, I just really recommend, I can certainly recommend Goodwood. I can't recommend anywhere else at the moment. But Goodwood is, you know, if I could only do one track day again, I'd just go straight back there, because it was fantastic, completely flawless day. No silly red flags, well, not a single red flag at all. Just on the track driving, that's what we were all there to do, and basically that was what the whole day was filled with. So very, very happy with the day, extremely happy with the experience, obviously grateful that the cars come out of it okay, and I really appreciate all of your comments actually in the last video, sort of complimenting my driving and stuff. I don't regard myself as a really good driver, but you know, I've had a good amount of years and a good amount of miles in this car, certainly to learn this car to a really capable extent. And get things like heel and toe and things like that right. I would actually include that as a thing to prepare for in a future video for a track day. On that quickly, lots of you have commented about the heel and toe stuff, about the, you know, saying you don't know how to do it, if I could give you any tips. If you're interested, I think I will film a video on how to heel and toe. I'm not an expert, I've learned myself how to do it, so the way I do it might not be conventional, but it works for this car at least. So again, if you'd be interested to see a heel and toe tutorial video, let me know and I'll make that for you. I actually just appreciate you guys letting me know what you want to see, because I'm really just going to make content that you guys are interested in at the moment. Now, lastly, before I go, guys, exciting news. The next video you'll see on the channel will probably be with a different car. It's going to be my new daily, but not the new daily that I bought. It's a new daily that I'm borrowing from a bar. Actually, I can't say what car it is. I've probably just given it away. But I am borrowing a daily from a manufacturer for a week. It's the first press car I've ever had, so I'm very excited for that. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe now with notifications turned on so you see when my first video with that car comes out. I'm super excited to get a press car, so I really hope you guys are for me as well, and you'll watch the content. Anyway, until then, guys, let me know what you think of this video, if you found it interesting, if you'd like to see more sort of explainers of various topics, but mainly on that track day, I'll happily make them for you. And until the next video, guys, I'll see you very, very soon.